Now, my people, we've been living in the area of Montana, Alberta, and Saskatchewan for the last 5,000 years. We can trace our history back by doing the archaeology work, radiocarbon dating what we have found. And so we have stories relating to all things. And I'd like to tell you about the creative story. Now, when the Creator created this creation, He came down upon what He has created, and He walked amongst things that He's created. There was nothing really here but dust. And so He walked great distances way out to the south and north, and He'd become very bored with Himself. And so one day He decided to pick this dust up, and He threw it up into the air, and it came on down, settled back into the ground. And He did this for a while to amuse Himself. He got bored with that, and so one time He picked up this dust, and He spit into the dust, and made a ball out of it, and He rolled it out. Snake-like figure, and He put eyes in it, and a nose and a mouth, and He breathed life into it. And He set it down onto the ground, and that snake-like figure began to move. And so the Creator followed it. He played with it. He had a lot of fun with it. He did this for some time. And so He decided to make another one. And so again He picked up the dust, spit in it, and rolled it out into a ball, then shaped it into a snake-like figure, putting its eyes, nose, and mouth, breathing life into it again. But only this time it was a female. And He set it down onto the ground, and two of them, and He followed them. As He followed them, He had a lot of fun, going this way and going that way with them. And pretty soon these two made it, and they had children. And the Creator, He was really excited, because He had a lot to do now. Keep His mind occupied. He'd follow them, go over that way, and He'd run over this way with them and play with them over that way. And pretty soon they had children. And this was also very exciting to the Creator. And so He followed them, and they had children. And they had children. And pretty soon the Creator called them together and set rules for them. And they had children, but they didn't follow those rules. And pretty soon what He's created was being overrun by these snakes. And He said, how am I going to make it so that they'll listen to me? They wouldn't listen, so what He did, He set fire to them. He burnt them all, except for one female that was about to have little ones hid in a crevice. And so there He was again, on the planet, with nothing but the dust. And He was walking again, very lonely. And so again He picked up this dust, He threw it in the air, and He had an idea. And so He picked it up and He rolled it into a ball figure. And then He shaped this dust in His own image. Put eyes, ears, nose, and a mouth, breathed life into him. And He was satisfied. It was a female. And so they wondered. His creation walked all over, held hands, embraced one another. And next thing He knew, He had children. A child came, a son. He was very excited to teach His son and give him His wisdom and His knowledge about what He's created. And then they had another son. They were very happy. They built an area where they would have a permanent home and raise these sons. And pretty soon another one came. Altogether He had 7 of these boys. He was very happy. He was very happy to teach them and give His sons His wisdom and His knowledge. In the meantime, His wife, she'd go gather roots for food. Every day they'd go out with His sons and teach. And she'd go gather these roots. One day, she was out gathering roots. It was very still, very beautiful. And pretty soon, this figure appeared to her. It was a man, a very handsome man. She was startled. She didn't know how to take it. She stared at him. This man stared back at her. She didn't say anything. Her heart was beating fast. She was very excited, wanted to talk, but didn't. She dropped her things and she went back to the camp. That evening, the Creator came with His sons. She prepared the meal. And the Creator sat down. She didn't say much. And He thought something was very peculiar. There was a kind of an odor, a kind of a smell that he could intake. And he said, "What is that strange smell?" She didn't say anything. He just went about his business. They rested that night. But his wife couldn't wait to get back to maybe see this person again. So early in the morning she prepared the meal, and the Creator and his sons went out to the north, and she went back to the area where she always gathered those roots. And she began to work, but kept looking up, looking for this stranger, this man to come. Sure enough, he appeared again. And they stared at one another, and then they began to communicate. So he told her, he said, "The Creator who has created us is a very bad person. He has did great harm to my people. Long time ago, there were many of us that roamed this great continent, and he set fire to us and burnt us all up. But my mother, she hid in this crevice, and I am part of her. I'm a snake. I have the power to change myself into a man." She felt very embraced with this. She went up and grabbed his hand, felt sorry for him, and they began to embrace. And they began to communicate and talk. She was very happy. And so he told her, "Anytime you want to talk to me, come to this certain area right here and stomp your foot on the ground 4 times and I will appear."